What's up, guys? It's your girl Adola. So when Rwanda closed down more than 5,000 churches and mosques, some people said, wow, we need this in Kenya. And then I've seen some people saying, well, we need this in Nigeria. Some people said it's an attack on Christianity in Rwanda, it's persecution of the church, and that Paul Kagame is just trying to make Rwanda a secular nation. Now, somebody said this video was the reason they shut down those churches in Rwanda.
For the ball, time for the ball. Here we go. Ball, time for the ball. There we go.
Now, first of all, guys, please know that this is not the first time that such is happening in Rwanda. In 2018, Rwanda actually shut down 9,000 churches and 6,000 of them remained shut. The reason it's usually very few mosques involved is because the population of Muslims in Rwanda is like 2%. So this month, they shut down like another 5,000 churches. And like you, I needed to know why. So Rwanda is shutting down churches for what I would categorize into 3 reasons. Number 1, inadequate infrastructure. Number 2, failure to pass safety and hygiene codes. And number 3, proper documentation, which is elaborate. We will get to that. A law that was passed in 2018 says that churches in Rwanda must have adequate infrastructure and must pass safety and hygiene codes. Now, in terms of infrastructure, safety and hygiene, this includes having enough space for the attendees without the place being overcrowded. So each building has what we call the safety capacity, the number of people that can be inside a building without you having to worry about what's going to happen if there should be fire outbreak. So they are saying that if you have a lot of people, get a bigger space, don't overcrowd them. Also, the churches are expected to have reasonable number of toilets and hand washing stations for their members. So if you have a 1,000 member church, for example, you can't have 1 toilet, 2 toilets. In America, a hall that seats 1,000 to 2,000 people must have at least a minimum of 12 toilets. So Rwanda also said that churches must have adequate parking spaces on their premises, that your church members are not allowed to be parking on the street, which can be blocking traffic. Another thing is Rwanda is saying that churches must have fire hazard equipment. So you need multiple fire extinguishers and people must know how to operate them. You should even have fire drill. Like here, we would even have fire drill so that your members would know what to do in case of fire. And then that they must have soundproofing systems, which means whatever happens or whatever is going on inside the church should only be heard inside the church. They're saying no noise pollution, which would disturb the neighbors. Quite frankly, a lot of Nigerian churches and mosques are guilty of this, especially when they are doing night vigil and neighbors cannot sleep because, you know, some people are praying. The same thing applies to the Muslims. When they're having the Muslim prayers in the morning, neighbors are not able to sleep. It's not right. However big a church is here in America, once you go outside the church, you don't hear what is happening inside the church, and so neighbors can't sleep. They also say that the churches must be in a safe location. This one alone would disqualify, it will eliminate a lot of churches that are located in like face you story buildings. You will see some buildings with several churches in one building, and I know that some churches are meeting under tents, no toilets, no place to wash hands, so all those ones will be automatically eliminated. So when it comes to all of these ones, I personally don't see anything wrong. I live in America, as you guys know, and all these things are already known and expected of churches and houses of worship. In fact, churches here will even have a kitchen, a big kitchen, you know, so that nobody has to cook outside when they have an event. Like you can have a wedding at the church and you can bring your caterer to the church. The caterer can cook at the church and they can bake at the church. And like I said earlier, no noise pollution at churches here. Now the problem would be if public institutions in Rwanda are not observing all these safety measures and it's just the church, you know. And I looked into that and found out that it doesn't just apply to government buildings, but all workplaces must also observe safety and hygiene codes, and every employer must guarantee a safe working environment for their employees. Now, the second aspect of why they closed down the churches in Rwanda, which I call the proper documentation, is a long list. First of all, Rwanda says that pastors must have a degree in theology, and that if they don't have a degree in theology, then they must at least have a bachelor's degree and then some kind of certificate in theology. So I want to know what you guys think. Now, this has gotten mixed reactions. Some people love it, some people are upset about it. I've seen someone saying that having a degree in theology has nothing to do with a person's choice of moral conduct. Others are saying that God can use anybody, so why do you have to get a degree before you can answer God's call? However, the government of Rwanda is saying that they want educated people to teach. so that they don't teach out of ignorance or teach heresy. So people are divided about this. Let me know what you think. Personally, I think that people should be educated, but I don't think that they must have a degree in theology. I've seen God use a medical doctor to start a church. I've seen God call a banker. He can use anybody as far as I'm concerned, but I do think that people should get some kind of education. Education is very, very important. Now let's go over the list of things under this proper documentation. So there is a list of things to check before your church can be registered. Did I mention that you have to legally register your church before you can open a church in Rwanda now? And that will be after you submit the following. Number 1, application letter. Number 2, a letter from your district authorities agreeing to certify that your church construction meets standard if it meets standard. Number 3, notarized written law that governs your church. Number 4, the names of the legal representatives of your church. We're talking about the pastors, his deputy, as well as their CVs, their resume. Number 5, criminal record of your pastor and his deputy or whoever is representing your church. Number 6, a statement certifying that the pastor and his deputy and the governing bodies of your church were appointed in accordance with the organization's laws and declaration. Number 7, the pastor, his deputy, the governing body should possess a bachelor's degree in religious studies or bachelor's degree in any field with a valid certificate in religious studies. We talked about that already. Number 8, notarized document explaining the doctrine of your church. They want to know what your doctrine is about. Number 9, notarized minutes of the General Assembly that established the organization and appointed its leaders. That established your church. Number 10, an annual action plan of your church as well as your source of income. 11, a document of partnership issued by one of the umbrellas of your own church. I'm guessing one of the governing bodies of your church. And the last one is to make a payment online. This is the fee. I got all these things from the Rwandan Governance Board's website. So guys, what do you think? I really want to know your opinion. Keep in mind that the government is saying that once the closed churches meet all the set requirements and they've received a certificate from the Rwandan Governance Board that says that they've been properly registered, that they may resume operations. One last thing, by the way, they actually gave the churches 5 years for them to meet all these requirements. So is this something that you would recommend in your own country? Not just for churches, but mosques and all religious buildings. Or is this something that you will protest? Let me know in the comment section. I think some of you think that we will charge you to subscribe. No, it's actually free. We do not charge. We will not charge you. Please don't forget to subscribe if you're yet to. Don't forget to follow me on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. I'm watching your Plasma TV. Press the subscribe button and the bell button. Until next time, I must see you all later.